and part of my duties as the United States Clerk is the DMV, both in Utica and in Rome. And in May of 2025, if you plan on flying anywhere, you're going to need either a real or an enhanced ID. You won't be able to fly without it unless, of course, you have a passport, and then it wouldn't matter. So, but we're just here tonight to answer any questions you might have about a real or enhanced. We gave you a handout to better inform you about the requirements you would need before you come down to get one. Some of you may already have one. Also the application, some other pertinent information you might need. So if you have any questions, certainly able to answer those. Go ahead.
What's the increase in cost?
The enhanced license, the real one is fairly simple to take it.
The enhanced is going to be an extra $30 at renewal time. If it's not renewal time, it's $42.50.
So yes.
The real, if it's renewal time, it's free. If it's not renewal time, it's $12.50.
So with that, so which means by that, like I've had a lot of people call my office and say, oh, you know, I didn't realize I needed a real or enhanced. I just came to renew my license, but now I want it. So some of it would be applying, correct?
Yeah, your credit for your renewal.
Your credit for your renewal will be there, but you still get the extra charge if you don't do it before the renewal.
What's the difference between a real and enhanced?
So the real ID will let you fly anywhere in the United States. The enhanced ID, by land or sea, you can go to Mexico and Canada, and that's $30 extra. So that's what the enhanced allows you to do.
So if you have a passport, you still need it?
No,
You don't need it?
no, nope.
But also, Mary, there are restrictions, correct? So if you are not a naturalized citizen or a U.S. resident, or excuse me, a U.S. citizen, you can't get the enhanced, correct?
The enhanced, no.
Right.
You're only eligible for the real.
Exactly.
And the real depends.
Yep. So there's rules with everything.
Right.
It depends on what the codes are.
So
For foreign passport, permanent resident cards and unemployment off cards, we have to send them into Albany and get a case number, and they determine.
Got it.
So as you may or may not know, we are overseen by the state of New York. We're just an offshoot of the DMV. So the county, although we are the employees, we don't actually run the DMV. The New York State runs our DMV. So we have to, yes.
When your license is up for renewal, do you still get notification from the DMV, or do you have to keep track yourself?
You should get notification. Either you don't know. See, a lot of people will get it through your email, which I'm sure a lot of people don't realize. Because I know myself, I get email notifications. Yeah, I do get email. I haven't gotten one in the mail in several years, but I do get an email notification if you have email.
Okay, mine is not due to 26. Now, does it to renew? Now, can I have to use my passport until that time?
You could renew early, up to a year.
If you have a passport, you really only need a real ID.
So that will take care of me as far as when I renew. That'll take care of all that. I don't need that anymore.
You won't need what, your passport? No. If you're gonna travel outside of the United States, you're always gonna need a passport. The only thing the enhanced gets you to by land or sea is Mexico and Canada.
Oh. So I can take my passport to Canada.
Of course.
Okay. All right.
Can you hear me? Oh, I'm loud by nature. Okay.
I also have a girlfriend that her license picture doesn't match her passport picture. It's questionable. Is it something she can come in and just get a new license and a new picture?
Sure.
She can just get her picture with her.
Yes.
That's her only question. Thank you.
Yeah. She would use the same form that we passed out, the MB 44.
You have one there?
Mary, can you
MB
share?
44.
Can you share this to the Rome office, just in case folks wanted to go out there and use that?
Yeah, so, and just for many of you that may not know, last Tuesday when the tornado came through Rome, unfortunately, we did lose the DMV in Rome. No one was injured, thank goodness, but I've had to absorb those employees into our Utica office for now. So the Rome DMV will be closed for at least 6 months. We will be removed. Yeah, it was really, really bad. It was right in the path. I mean, no one was injured is like a miracle.
A miracle.
It's a miracle. Really, really bad. Servicing everyone in Utica is, like we would. So it'll just be about 6 months, I'm thinking. Maybe a little longer, but hi, Tony. So if anything at all?
Are you getting a real ID to get to the federal business?
Yes, you will.
Like social security.
Social Security office, yes. You'll need the real ID to get in there, get access to federal buildings. Right, or your passport. Yeah,
Yeah, I
federal
know.
building, yes.
May of 2025.
Yep, and that's not until May of 2025, everyone knows that, right? So you have plenty of time if you don't have it yet. If you never plan on traveling, you never have to need a real or enhanced ID, that's also, just putting it out there. Right, if you have a passport too, you don't need it, so there's a lot of confusing information.
What are some other things that the county clerk's office services you provide? Because
Sure.
DMV is a big deal, but you
Yeah.
guys do a lot of different things.
Yeah, so for those of you who might not know, the DMV is just one thing that I run. I also run the Records Retention Center. We oversee all the records for all of Oneida County. We are also the clerks in Supreme Court and to criminal court. We are also any divorce records you ever need. I'm the holder of all divorces. All deeds, all land transactions within the county, anything like that, name changes, DBAs, lots and lots of different transactions take place on the 5th floor of the county building, where my main office is. I did plan on having an office in Rome every other Wednesday, but they will be on hold for a little while. But my office in Utica is almost ready, so I will be there every other week as well on Wednesdays. And I have changed the DMV in case anyone was wondering. We're really on a good roll. We have kiosks now, so if you were to go, it's self-check-in. We have greeters there that walk you through the process. We'll tell you any paperwork that you need before you even get up front. The process takes about 10 to 15 minutes now. You no longer need an entire day to go to DMV. Lots of transactions you can also do online now because we now retain the same amount of money for every transaction, whether you come in person or online, which is something that didn't happen until January this past year. But now that's another wonderful thing that's happened. So it makes it more convenient for all the residents.
Sir, do you have a question? Go ahead.
Of course, how come it's not handicap accessible?
The Utica DMV?
Stations.
We do have a handicap window, station 7.
Why didn't we get in there?
There's really, because I feel like there's no in the back near where the restaurant is.
Why didn't go way down there?
Yeah,
I used to go into the side door.
it's way in the back.
Way in the back.
Yeah,
It's over that bridge. There's a little, like,
I know
bridgeway.
where the restaurant.
Yeah, but it's on the other side of the restaurant.
Well, if you go like you're going towards that bridge, there's a pair of double doors right there, and that is handicap accessible.
and we are hoping to move out of the downtown area and get something that's a little bit more accessible to people and also better parking. So that's in the works as well. That'll be a little down the road, but definitely in the works. Yeah.
Do you know offhand what the population is for Oneida County?
I don't know that offhand, no.
I'm not sure. The last I was aware it was like 254, but I'm not exactly sure.
Sounds about
Or
right.
right around there.
Mhm.
I was just wondering, next thing was gonna be, you took the two cities, Utica and Rome, their population, what percentage that would have been of the county?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're similar. There's a lot of.
But I
things
can't
that are
remember
similar,
the
too.
figure.
Big
Dutchess County.
county. That's for sure. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Proof of requirements, how many of these do you need?
All of them.
All of the above?
Yeah.
No,
Your
you
birth
don't,
certificate, everything?
if you,
Or your passport.
Or your
See how it
passport.
says birth certificate or US passport?
All right.
One or the other.
And a piece of mail from your house saying that's where you live?
Yeah. And then if you don't have that in your packet, you'll see a paper that you can use to prove your residency. That's also in there. Some people, they don't match up. Sometimes, like if you never change your address, sometimes your license and your, like, the mail that you're getting, the addresses aren't always the same. So that's in there as well.
Why do they want so many different IDs?
New York State.
I mean, you would think 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 would be
No,
okay.
they want as many as
Too
humanly
much blood
possible.
type, you don't want-
Yeah, they'd like to take your blood.
I'm sure they would.
You have no idea.
Leave your arm out.
Yeah. Leave your right arm at the counter and off you go.
I feel like some TSA agents have taken mine,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the real ID and the enhanced is actually a conglomerate of many different states that have all agreed to participate. It's almost federal. So like even in Pennsylvania, they have the same programs.
Basically, for flying out, going somewhere, right, basically?
I mean, it's a homeland security issue more so. So you'll see more and more states jumping on. We think. Anything else?
Well, I encourage you guys to pick. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sure.
This is, that's legit, but I agree. But, I don't want to get too far off topic, but it seems odd that all of these proofs are required to drive, but no proof is required to vote. I'll leave it at that.
I agree.
that's another.
That's a whole nother issue. That's out of my preview.
But you bring that up, but you can register to vote at the DMV.
You
So
can.
that is a
Well,
good
that's,
point.
yes, yeah, that's-
So, any other questions for Ms. Finegan? She is a wealth of knowledge. I encourage you to engage with her. She will leave us her contact information, and I'll make sure that you get an email for her office, so that if you do have a question after the fact, or maybe a friend or neighbor has a question, they've been more than helpful when I've gone down there. They have a really great staff. Also, the same thing can be said for Lisa and her team down at the Utica DMV. So, very, very happy that they were able to make some time for us. You can't imagine how busy they are post-tornado. So I really appreciate them making it down here. Any other questions for Mary or Lisa? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Nope, you're all set. You're good.
And how long does an enhanced last? Is it the same 10-year period?
Yeah, that's
Right.
times 8 depends. Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
Your license.
Not again.
Not again, but, because you're already having the hand, so it'll all be in the system that way. So it'd just be like a regular renewal, just like any other time you renewed your license.
So that would be true for like change of address or
Yes,
any other
yes.
marital status, those kinds of things. The other thing I would tell folks too, and a lot of people may or may not realize, we have a lot of veterans in the room. You can get the veteran endorsement on your enhanced
Yes.
license, and that is a valid way for you to redeem veterans discounts at places like Home Depot, Texas Roadhouse, and gain access to, different veterans things. So if you don't have that endorsement on your ID already, that's something that the folks down at DMV can help you do, and they'll let you know what paperwork you need. Typically, it's your DD 214,
Yes.
and then some picture ID
What's the additional cost for that?
for the enhanced.
The veterans, that's free.
That's fine. And we also hold the BD, I'm sorry, we have those as well in my office on the 5th floor. We have all veteran records as well.
Yeah, so what you'll see on that is just in the upper left corner of an enhanced license, it'll say veteran, and then normally it has your service affiliation on there as well. So.
This may be a dumb question, but
No question is done.
other countries have the driver's license in the whole country. Why does the United States, probably at this point, the United States of America driver's license? And
Great question.
You will
Well-
know the DMVs.
I've asked about national IDs, even at the congressional level. I talked to Congressman Brandon Williams, and there was a national ID bill that the House had put forth several years ago. So scale is an issue, and the way that our government is set up is an issue, right? You're talking about some other countries. My wife is from South Korea. Their country geographically is the same size as New York State.
Yeah.
80% of their population lives in one city. So a national ID makes sense because municipalities and provincial governments don't need to have the enumerated powers to be able to do their own identification separately, right? In the United States, the federal government gives the states a certain amount of power to administer these services. And so each state has the right, we have the right in a representative government to tell our state how we want those services administered. So what I would say is, would it be easier and more efficient? Yes. But would you have the amount of individualized representation necessary? Maybe New York and North Carolina are going to do things very, very differently because their population requires that different application. So yes, it would be easier. I think we should have national IDs for certain things. Like, for example, a social security card should be a picture ID. It should be a national ID. It's a service we already provide. It's a cost that we already have, right? So why not make that another identification? So that's the type of national ID bill that I was working with the congressman to try to get moved forward. But at this level, as Mary said, the state really gives the localized DMVs the power to provide these services. And so they're really tied into the state in many cases with the services they can provide. Yes, sir.
It'd make it a lot better for elections if we had a national ID, social security with a photograph on.
I agree.
A lot easier in a lot of ways.
I agree.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Excellent. Well, Mary, Lisa, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate
Thank you
your
so much
time,
for
really.
hearing us out and having us tonight. It was great. Any questions you have, don't hesitate to call my office. Truly, we're always there to help. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Give them a round of applause.
I just want to remind you women out there that are married, if you don't have a passport and you come down to DMV with your birth certificate, you're going to also need your marriage certificate. And a lot of people will bring the one from the church. It's got to be the one from the town or the city with a stamp. Yeah.
It's a big seal.
Because we have to scan all this stuff. It goes through a scanner. Your social security card, your license, and birth or social.
Lots of rules.
Thanks.
again, everyone.
Thank you. And would you guys stay here 1 second?
Yeah.
We'll have Ms. Finegan draw the winning raffle ticket. How's that?
Okay. What is it? 512563.
Oh.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations.
Awesome. Yay.
See, you knew she was good luck, right?
I knew it.
Yeah. All right, folks. So we do have a couple more things on the agenda for tonight, and then we'll kind of go around the room and open up the floor. But like I said, we'll make sure you get Lisa and Mary's contact information. We'll also email out copies of the forms and/or the link to where you can go to fill out the digital copies right on the DMV website. If you guys do have any other information and you're having trouble, you can send it to us. We'll make sure that Mary or Lisa and then the team gets it. So thank you so much for being here, ladies. Thanks. Appreciate it. So I did want to bring up a couple opportunities. One, if you came in the front door, you may have seen this LAFA fundraiser for the North Utica Community Center. I would encourage you on your way out, if you just go through the main lobby and take a left out that front door, there's a stack of these sitting there. Please feel free to grab one and share it with your friends and neighbors. That fundraiser is going to benefit the North Utica Community Center, so this building. And that is going to be on Tuesday, August 20th from 4 to 8 p.m. You can go to LAFA and enjoy a great meal. You can get a gift card or you can buy a meal to go. And a portion of those proceeds come back to the center in the form of a fundraiser. So it's a really, really great event. It's very, very easy for the center. And of course, you can go and enjoy some good food by a locally owned business and participate that way. In that same vein, Bo and I will be contacting these folks and working on one for the North Utica neighborhood association, so that'll be coming your way at some point. And again, it'll be the same type of thing. You can just go and present the flyer, and then a portion of the proceeds from that meal will benefit the North Utica Neighborhood Association. So I'll leave this up here, and like I say, you're welcome to grab one on your way out as you go out the main doors. So we also have a couple things that have been happening or will happen in North Utica that I'd like to make you apprised of. Number one, the mayor and the Parks Commissioner have a lot of part-time DPW employees that are helping clean up our parks. If you guys haven't noticed, I think they're doing a beautiful job. One of the ones that Mr. Beatrice and I had discussed was the part where you enter North Utica at that triangle, and that was in very, very bad shape. It was something that needed to be addressed, so that was a priority item for them. And as you can see, as you come in the city, around the flagpole, and then also the North Utica sign itself has been cleaned and painted and replanted. And I know there is still some more installation that will happen there. And my question, of course, with any of these things is, okay, now is somebody going to follow up and keep it clean?
Yeah.
And so I've gotten relative assurances that they're going to make sure their folks go there once a week, keep that nice little area clean. I think that's really the gateway into our community, and it's really important to me to make sure that that's clean and it represents kind of how well we all keep our homes up here, and we want our place to look presentable, especially for folks coming off the freeway. Yeah.
Just to let you know, there's a young girl, blonde hair, every morning over there on a Parks Department vehicle, great big tank of water. She's watering down all the plants and things like that.
Yeah, so it's nice to see them, it's nice to see them maintaining it, because of course, it's all of our tax dollars that go to do those nice things, and you know, you want to make sure they get maintained and well kept. In that same vein, Mrs. Pulio and Mr. Beatrice have put a lot of effort into the Weaver Cemetery. So I don't know if anybody that lives off of Riverside Drive or use Cosby Road, you may have noticed in the Weaver Cemetery there are some nice flags there. There's been some weeding that's been done, and it always needs to be done, right?
I was trying to leave all of that, petals and stems there, so we can have a, like, tomorrow. Which
Not-
is not, I'm just hoping they come up next year. They will.
Sure.
They will? They will. But isn't it cut down too little? No, it isn't?
So, and you may have noticed there's a new sign that got put up. I think
Yeah.
Mr. Beatrice had that made and put up a nice new sign. There were also some efforts to continue to clean up that cemetery and just kind of keep it looking presentable. It is privately owned, and so we have to go through the city, and there's several different things. I know folks had questions about that.
We're good. We're good to do whatever we want to do.
Okay, so that's good news then. So if you would like to lend some help or to volunteer, please contact Mr. Beatrice or contact Mrs. Julio. They have both been the main points of contact for that initiative. I would really encourage you, if you have, you know, even if you just want to go down there and weed whack and make it look a little nicer. It is something, again, coming off of Cosby Manor Road before you turn on, or Cosby Road before you turn on to Riverside Drive. So you may have seen some work being done there. The other thing I would say, and this kind of goes to our personal upkeep of our properties, but we last month talked about the Green Utica Garden Tour that's going to be happening, and that is citywide throughout the entire city of Utica. Prior to this year, they didn't have any homes signed up in North Utica, and as you well know, we have a lot of beautiful homes in North Utica that have fantastic gardens or landscapes or flower beds, and so they were able to, through the meeting engagement, and of course a lot of volunteers pass out flyers and things like that, able to sign up, I believe, 4 to 6 homes in North Utica. Now that garden tour is going to be happening on 10 August from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And what you can do is you can go to the Green Utica website, and there'll be a garden tour map. It'll tell you all the homes that have signed up. Some of the tours are riding tours, so you can kind of just pass by the homes and kind of sightsee. And some of the tours are actually guided tours on that person's property. And it will tell you which ones, and it'll tell you how to get involved. I think it's a really interesting thing. And of course, we always want our friends and neighbors to come by and appreciate all of our hard work. if you do have a property that you would, that you're very proud of and that you've done some great landscaping to, you're welcome to also sign up and participate as one of the host sites for the garden tour. And again, folks can just drive by and look, or you can give a full tour. So that's an opportunity that exists. Again, that is greenutica.org/events. And you can either sign up or get the map right on that site. And we have actually 2 homes right on Riverside Drive that have signed up. Myself is 197, and I believe there's 182 maybe. The woman that has the rose garden right there. So there's some right here. And then of course, on the other side, I think on the Herkimer Road side, there's several as well. I know the DA, Todd Carville, his home is on that. We've seen the blue house with all the flowers in the front. That's Todd's house. So yeah, I would encourage you to look into that. So as far as current events, I had mentioned a couple things earlier. Talked to the civil officers earlier today. So there have been some attempted car robberies. Young kids checking door handles in North Utica. They were seen in the driveway cameras. It happened. There were some on Locust that reported an incident where a car door was opened, the car was unlocked, so that their car wasn't broken into. And then there were several incidents on Herkimer Road and off of Herkimer Road where kids were just coming by and checking door handles to get in cars. So I would just remind everybody, number one, if you can, put up a Ring doorbell or some type of camera, something that alerts you that there are folks on your property, so you can call for the appropriate assistance if needed. And the second thing would be always lock your vehicles, even if it's in your driveway, even if you've got a long driveway and you feel comfortable. It's just something that these young kids are doing. Just try to see if you leave any spare change in the car, or you leave your wallet, or you leave your phone, or whatever the case may be. And especially don't leave an extra set of house keys inside your car. So this is the advice that the UPD has given me. So if you have any questions, again, call the community relations folks at the UPD, and they can give you specific locations where that has occurred, just to let you know if you're close to that. But I would say all of the folks in our North Loop community, just be a little bit careful. What I tend to see is it's not necessarily a problem with folks that live up here. It's a problem where young kids will jump on the city bus, they'll ride the bus up here, they'll go to Walmart, they'll cause some trouble, they'll hop back on the bus and they'll go home. So it may not be kids in your neighborhood that live in your neighborhood. It may not be folks that you know, but just be conscious and aware that that type of thing is happening. They did have a couple stray animal reports in North Utica over the last month. So if you are seeing feral cats or stray dogs, they just reminded to call USPC, or they didn't tell me exactly where to call there, but I'm sorry? Yes, yeah, that's the black bear sighting as well. Yeah. So, and that's kind of interesting. So as we see these conservation efforts happen, we are going to see more and more things like bald eagles, black bears, these type of predatory animals. So that is kind of a good point that you bring up, Ron, because folks with small dogs, folks with cats that have access to the outside, this is becoming a larger concern. There were several incidents last year where we had large birds of prey attacking domestic cats and things like that. So you do want to be very careful. Yes?
Coyotes also.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we do have coyotes down here. We have fox, we have skunk. They're all predatory. So again, keep your animals safe. This is going to be an increased occurrence because, again, we have several conservation efforts, especially with bald eagles. Of course, with the reduction in hunting permits for black bears, they are coming farther and farther south of their normal range, which is kind of the Adirondack Park area. We're seeing them a lot in Deerfield, Howland, Trenton, and I think us folks in North Utica are also going to see them. It's a major obstacle for them to get across the thruway, so that's not too much of an issue farther south, but it is an issue here. And then, of course, you do have the wetlands right southwest that attract these birds of prey and these other animals because it's a natural habitat. So just be conscious. Again, bring the cats in at night, that kind of stuff. So, any other things from around the room, community advisory wise? That's all I really had in my notes tonight. Excellent. So, Miss Nancy had an announcement for you guys. I'd like to have her come up here. This is Nancy Riker, and she's on the planning committee for the
October 19th
craft fair.
There we go.
It'll be here before you know it. But what I want to ask, we will be getting a lottery card tree in addition to 2 gift card trees. And we are looking for donations of lottery tickets. Scratch-offs are fine, but, and you can bring them into the office here at the community center. They'll be happy to accept them. 1 ticket, 2 tickets, whatever you'd like to donate would be very much appreciated.
Excellent. So, and that craft fair, what are some of the kinds of things that you guys have at the craft fair, Nancy?
We will
Type
have,
of vendors?
sure, yeah, stained glass,
Jewelry.
sweet treats has been there every craft fair. We will also have a backyard maple syrup. He did very well. They make great Christmas gifts. We have 2 vendors that make personalized cards and Christmas decorations, of course. New wood vendors. I'm sure everyone will find something they like for, and jewelry. Yes, thank you. So there will be something for everybody.
And will there be food and beverages here as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Right. So that means you guys can come for the afternoon and enjoy your time. Thank you, Nancy, I appreciate it. And you guys do that craft fair twice a year, so this is the fall iteration of the craft fair. Many of you probably remember the spring iteration, and they kind of have the whole center used for that. There's vendors throughout this whole main area, and then you guys go all the way back in classrooms. And I think, about how many vendors? 30 or 40 vendors, you think?
32, a few have double spaces, so,
Sure.
yeah.
So quite a few. So there's something for everybody. There's definitely something you can find. And the great thing is you're supporting local small businesses and folks that are doing these crafts by hand. And you're finding unique, wonderful Christmas gifts because the fall fair falls right before Christmas. So.
But it also supports the center here.
Correct. Exactly right. Yeah, we got to keep the lights on, so that's good. So, anything else from around the room? Yes, sir, Mr. Vincent, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. North Utica Mayor.
Good evening, folks. Joe Beatrice is not here tonight, so I thought I'd enlighten people about something that's going on. Yesterday, my wife and I went to a Jack and Jill party for my niece, and I met a fellow there that I started talking with, and he's a member of the Utica zoning committee. And the problem that North Utica's been having as far as zoning is this problem down here with all the trailers that have been parking near the thruway exit. He was given 30 days to remove the last of those trailers. There were originally 118 of those trailers. A lot of people thought they were mobile homes that could be used for illegal aliens, immigrants, whatever you want to call them. Well, the 30 days is almost up, and I've seen them going in there and taking out a couple here and there now and then, but there's still a ton of them down there. But the 30 days are almost up, and the gentleman that I was talking to from the zoning board told me that when the 30-day ends, the Corporation Council for the City of Utica is going to file suit against them in courts. So it's looking good. I just hope it looks good a lot sooner. Thank you.
Ron, when this came up before on their first 30 days, the fellow that owns them or the property said, that's fine. He said, I'll just move them to another property. What's being done about that, do you know?
The other properties within the City of Utica, and he asked for a zoning permit
Right.
to put them there, and it was turned down.
Oh, okay.
So he can't put them in the City of Utica.
Okay.
They're going somewhere else. Any other questions?
And so, Ron, do you know what precipitated the city council and everybody getting involved with this? Was that community members reaching out to them? Like, what was the reason they got involved?
I noticed these trailers building up myself personally. And end of last summer, beginning of early fall. I was across the street, having my car inspected, and I happened to look over there and I got talking to the fellow in the shop down here where the tire shop on North Tennessee Street. And, he says, yeah, he says, they've been bringing those in and parking them in there. Anybody question you about it? And he says, yeah, a lot of people are concerned about it. They see these trailers over there. And now we got this big problem with the southern border and all these illegal people coming into the country and popping up here and there and every place else. And he says, he says they're one whole side of them would be covered with a white plastic film. And he says they look like just a trailer with a door and a couple of windows in it, like temporary living quarters. Well, shortly after that time, our county executive made a law in Oneida County that we're not going to be a sanctuary county. So the people that are coming in here illegally would not be allowed to be in this area. So as I seen this, I got a little bit wondering about it. And I go to every single common council meeting in the city of Utica. And I brought it up at public comment one night. And Joe Beatrice, I told him about it, and he started looking into it. And it's just bubbled up since then. And I think the bubble's going to burst.
Well, thank you, Ron, for the update, because I know a lot of us have been concerned about that. I know some other business owners in North Utica have been concerned about that. Mr. Ken Rozier, whose property is off of Leland Ave, but it's right across the canal from those trailers, and it's quite an eyesore. We ask these private business owners to come in and make investments in our community and improve our area, and folks that are sitting at that beautiful restaurant are looking out the window at field full of trailers, look like FEMA trailers, for lack of a better explanation. So it's really unfair to ask private business owners and residents to maintain their properties and keep a beautiful appearance, and then to have somebody come into our community and make it look like that. Especially for folks coming off the thruway exit, it really is not a good impression of the type of city that we are. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know what they are? Construction trailers?
Construction.
Yes, they were said that they were construction trailers, and they could be utilized in theory for temporary housing, things like that, but they are owned by a private entity. It's not, there were folks that were afraid that they were FEMA trailers, they were from the federal government, and that is not the case, as Mr. Vincent explained. So very good, thank you, Ron, I appreciate that, because I have fielded some questions regarding that recently. The only other thing I would say is, if you do have any storm damage issues, and you want to get a hold of your local representatives to try to help you work through that, they can tell you what agencies or anything like that. I know North Utica wasn't very severely hit, but we did have some downed trees, we did have some damaged roofs, and we did have some properties that were moderately affected, depending on where you are in North Utica. But please reach out to Joe Beatrice, and he can push you in the right direction for what agencies you need to speak with, and hopefully we can get you some help and get you taken care of. If you did have a tree on your property and it is down on public property, of course our DPW teams were up here and they were clearing those types of things out, so there's no obstruction of our sidewalks or our roads and things like that. If you are still observing that type of issue in your neighborhood, again, reach out to Mr. Beatrice. He is very responsive. I have to say he's pretty good about getting back to folks, and he will make sure that you guys get taken care of. Any other questions or comments from around the room? You're welcome to announce any community events you may be aware of, or just general commentary that you might have. All right, fantastic. Well, I encourage you, you're welcome to stay and enjoy some light refreshments in the back of the room. I'll make sure. Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate that. I almost glossed right over that. It's almost like you guys were running the meetings before.
Nothing.
Careful, you might get recruited. Okay, so the agenda for the meeting on 22 July, of course, which is today. In August, we have guest speaker from the United Herkimer Solid Waste Authority, Representative Rachel Stelf, discussing the City of Utica recycling program. And then on September 23rd, we have a meet and greet with the state assembly candidates. So that would be Christina Esposito and Marion Buttonshon. They're running for the 119th Assembly District, which is the district that we all live in. And then following that September meeting, is it October that we have the Senate?
September, so.
Oh, the Senate and the Assembly are the same day. Got it, okay. So you will be able to meet, obviously, Senator Joe Grifo from the New York State Senate and his opponent, Jay Meyer.
We're looking at, for October, we're looking at getting both candidates.
That's right. Thank you. That would be the current our seated Congressman Brandon Williams, and then his opponent, I'm not sure, John Mannion. Thank you. So,
Any way you can get Donald Trump here? I really go out and get people in here.
that's right.
You can't go the way to the next street.
We would love to. But so you guys are welcome to. We'll have the list of upcoming meetings up front. Please jot that down. Make sure we have a full house for those, because it's your opportunity to engage with those people who aspire to public service and/or are incumbents. It's a great time to ask them questions or to find out information about their candidacy, what they stand for, and allows us to be educated voters going forward and make good choices. So it's a very good thing. Of course, you probably all remember when we hosted the school board forums. So the format will be very similar. It's not really a debate format. Our goal and our mission here is to inform the public. So it's not to create a platform for politicians. It's to create a platform so that you, the citizens, can ask questions and keep the folks that represent you accountable. So we're here, we're batting for you guys. We're not really trying to create a soapbox for them. So, and that's the what you can expect going forward in September as well as October. And for the folks that can't be here in person, we do have, for example, we may have Congressman Brandon Williams, depending on what his congressional schedule is, he may have to Zoom into the meeting, but you will have the ability to engage with him live. We have a Zoom set up, so we have a large screen, and you'll be able to see and talk to him in real time if he can't be here in person. So, any other questions from around the room? Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining us with me tonight. The official portion is concluded. And like I said, please grab some refreshments on your way out. Thank you so much.